My name is Diane. I was a client of Dr. Linda Iheme back in 2021 when I enrolled for the Vantage Admission and Scholarship Hacks Masterclass. I got admission and full scholarship to study for my PhD in molecular biosciences. I'll be majoring in biochemistry and molecular biology. I'm here live in the US. It still feels like a very beautiful dream that I don't want to wake up from. I want to tell you about my study abroad journey, my story. After I got my master's degree in 2016 in biochemistry back in Nigeria, I told myself that I wasn't going to get another degree in Nigeria. I wanted to get another degree abroad, and so, but I didn't know how or how to go about it. I didn't know where to start from. And so one day on Facebook, I came across Dr. Linda's video where she was talking about how to get admission and scholarship to study abroad. So after watching the video, I got interested. And mind you, once people start talking about scholarships, once you get to the topic of scholarships, I always feel like I am not worthy of getting a scholarship. Like I feel like, oh, I'm just an average student. I don't have a 2-1. Like I'm not worthy. But then I was able to get full scholarship worth over $200,000, guaranteed for 5 years of my PhD program. Isn't that wonderful? Dr. Linda made it happen. God made it happen. And so after I watched the video, I went to Dr. Linda's profile on Facebook and saw another link that led to a free webinar. So I watched the free webinar. It was like an hour. At the end of the webinar, I noticed that there was a price tag to the training that Dr. Linda was offering. So I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money at the time. And so I took off. I ran away. I followed her on all her social media platforms. I followed her on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. In fact, I watched virtually all her videos on YouTube. I started to get a clearer picture about studying abroad, about applying for admissions and scholarships. So I thought that it was something that I could just do on my own. So I started. I first started applying to schools in Europe, mostly schools in Europe. And this started in 2019. And as you can imagine, I got a lot of negative feedbacks, a lot of negative outcomes from those applications I was submitting. I got negative responses from the professors that I was emailing. I had a lot of it in my inbox, but it didn't stop me. I continued. The cycle still continued until early 2021 when I finally said, no, this has to stop. Because I submitted 8 different applications late in 2020. And in 2021, all 8 applications came back negative. I was shortlisted in 2 of them. I attended the interview, but I didn't make it to the final list. I also got 2 admissions in very good schools, in 2 very good schools in Europe. But I still, I wasn't able to attend the schools because I didn't have money to pay for tuition. It was a lot. So I was very unhappy to let those opportunities go to waste. I invested a lot in that process. So I was very frustrated. I invested my time, my energy, my money. A lot of resources went into those applications and they came back all negative. I was very saddened. So I remembered Dr. Linda again. And so I went back to that webinar that I had watched, the webinar that I ran away from, I watched it all over again. And at the end of the webinar, I noticed that the price had gone up like twice or even 3 times what it was back in 2019. But I didn't think about it. I just said to myself that anything of value, the price has to increase, right? So one thing I did differently this time was that I still didn't have the money, but I rallied around for it. I sourced for the fund. I called my friends, my family, and within 2 days we were able to raise the fund. I paid immediately, and finally I enrolled in the Vantage Admission and Scholarship Hacks Masterclass. It was a refreshing experience. I felt happy again, because there was something to look up to. My hope was there. I felt like this is the thing. I looked forward to the daily lectures from Dr. Linda. It was a 30 days intensive program, but it was worth it. My husband was there to support me. He will always ask me if I had attended the lecture for the day. We're all excited that we finally enrolled for it. And now here we are. All the efforts paid off. All the sleepless nights paid off. Dr. Linda's program was packed with a lot of interesting content. But 3 things that I took away from that program, 3 things that struck me the most, was the very first lecture, which was a mindset overhaul. She changed my mindset to begin to think like an expatriate, like what she will call it. Someone who has value. She will make you realize that you have valuable skills and abilities and you have to use it. People need it. You have to put it out to the world. So that was the very first lecture that I took from Dr. Linda, and up till today, it's a lifelong learning experience. It's something that has been helping me. I have applied everything, the knowledge that I got from the training program, I have applied in different aspects of life. And I know that that knowledge will still live with me for a very long time. So one thing that I would like to tell young people like me who are aspiring to study abroad is to keep an open mind. Be very teachable. You need to be ready to accept knowledge. No matter how much you already know, you need to be ready to unlearn, learn and relearn. You need to be ready to implement the things that you have learned from the training program. And secondly, do not procrastinate ever. While I was still taking the training program, I was already implementing what Dr. Linda was teaching. For example, editing my CV immediately, editing my CV, repackaging my CV to properly project who I am to the Admission and Scholarship Committee. Improving my writing skills, I started writing immediately. And now I can tell you confidently that I can write effortlessly. I can produce something very beautiful within a very short period of time. The Vantage School made it happen. And then another thing that I would like to tell young people is to take advantage of as many opportunities as you're eligible for. I put out around 6 applications. I could have applied more, just apply as much as you can. Take advantage of many opportunities. Don't put all your energy or tie your emotions to just one application, because it might just come back negative. So as many applications as you apply for, the more your chances increase of getting in. Then finally, for young moms like me, you have no excuse. Don't say that you have young children, you don't have time. When I took Dr. Linda's training program, I had a 6-week-old baby in my arms. It was just me, my husband, and my 2 kids. But we made it happen. We faced it head on. I faced a lot of challenges, but Dr. Linda already prepared me ahead. There was nothing she didn't talk about that I didn't see. In different ways, I was ready. And so when I started, I continued moving until I got to the end. So you have what it takes to make this happen. And I'm going to see you at the top. Bye.